Levi Jackson was born on August 22, 1926. A football standout at Hill House High School in New Haven, Connecticut. He was the first African-American football captain at Yale University and the first African-American executive at Ford Motor Company. He was a member of the Yale class of 1950 and captained the 1949 football team. The election taken soon after the 1948 season, like Albie Booth before him. Jackson was a football standout at Hill House High School and Yale. Jackson was born in Branford, Connecticut. Jackson's father was a master of steward and chef at Yale's Pearson College. Jackson attended Yale on the GI Bill. He attained the rank of sergeant in the U.S. Army Ordnance Corps. After playing football on Camp Blue Team in Virginia with the U.S. Army, he turned down an offer to play for the New York Giants. That would have made him the first African-American to play in the modern National Football League. Yale coach Howie Odell welcomed Jackson, the team achieving a 7-1-1 record in the Associated Press poll, finish at 12, and a victory over Harvard. Jackson's squads were 3-1 versus Harvard. Jackson's election to the captaincy was unprecedented, given he was the first African-American to play football for Yale, but almost unremarkable in the Yale community. The voting took only 10 minutes. There was no one else. It had to be Levi. The Yale player recounted Jackson had lettered also for the varsity basketball team. Jackson understood to be the first African-American tapped for a Yale secret or senior society. He was a member of the Brazilian Society. He was the first African-American student to join the society. Later in his career, after graduating from Yale, Jackson went to work for the Ford Motor Company in 1950. By 1962, he was an executive, the first African-American to reach that level at Ford. He was a vice president when he retired in 1983, alongside his responsibilities while holding positions in labor relations. He was instrumental in setting up Ford's minority dealer training program and helped see that Ford hired 10,000 workers from within the city of Detroit, where he chose to live. He was involved in this community, working with the New Detroit Committee after the 1967 Detroit riot, and served on the National Selective Service Appeal Board in 1969, at the height of the Vietnam War. The thing I found most remarkable about Levi is when they voted for captain, it was unanimous, except for one vote. He didn't vote for himself. He died in Detroit, December 7th, 2000.
Charles L. Sifford, born on June 2, 1922, an African-American former professional golfer who helped to segregate the PGA of America. Sifford was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, and currently resides in Shaker Heights, Ohio. He began working as a caddy at the age of 13. Later, he competed in golf tournaments that black golfers organized for themselves and was a coach for personal golf coach for band leader Billy Eckstein. He first attempted to qualify for a PGA Tour event at the 1952 Phoenix Open using an invitation obtained by former world heavyweight boxing champion Joe Davis. And he was also subjected to threats, racial abuse there and at other tournaments. In 1957, he won the Long Beach Open, which was not an official PGA Tour event, but co-sponsored by PGA and had some well-known white players in the field. He became a member of the tour in 1961, thus becoming the first African American to join the PGA Tour. He also went on to win 2 official money events. He won the 1975 PGA Seniors Championship, then the leading tournament for golfers over 50. In 2004, Sifford became the first African American inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame. He chose fellow Hall of Fame member South African Gary Player to present him for induction. On June 22, 2006, she received an honorary degree from the University of St. Andrews as a Doctor of Laws. He also received the 2007 Old Tom Morris Award from the Golf Superintendents Association of America, GCSAA's highest honor. In 2009, the Northern Trust Open created an exemption for a player who represents the advancement of diversity in golf. It is named in honor of Sifford and is referred to as the Charlie Sifford exemption. In 2011, Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation renamed Revolution Park Golf Course to Dr. Charles L. Sifford Golf Course at Revolution Park. President Barack Obama awarded him the 2014 Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor a civilian citizen can receive. I believe Charlie Sifford was a very hard-working man who kept pursuing his dreams as a golfer, which at the time was a white sport. Today, Charlie Sifford is a great icon in our world.
Althea Gibson was an American tennis player and professional golfer and the first black athlete to cross the color line of international tennis. In 1956, she became the first person of color to win a Grand Slam title, the French Open. The following year, she won both Wimbledon and the U.S. Nationals, precursor of the U.S. Open. Then won both again in 1958 and was voted Female Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press in both years. In all, she won 11 Grand Slam tournaments, including 6 doubles titles, and was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame and the International Women's Sports Hall of Fame. She is one of the greatest players who ever lived, said Robert Ryland, a tennis contemporary and former coach of Venus and Serena Williams. Martina couldn't touch her. I think she beat the Williams sisters. In the early 1960s, she also became the first black player to compete on the Women's Professional Golf Tour. At a time when racism and prejudice were widespread in sports and in society, Gibson was often compared to Jackie Robinson. Her road to success was a challenging one, said Billie Jean King, but I never saw her back down. To anyone, she was an inspiration because of what she was able to do at a time when it was enormously difficult to play tennis at all if you were black, said former New York City Mayor David Dinkins. I am honored to have followed in such great footsteps, wrote Venus Williams. Her accomplishments set the stage for my successes. And through players like myself and Serena, and many others to come, her legacy will live on. Tennis players made no money in the 1950s, and Gibson's finances worsened over the years. In 1992, she suffered a stroke. A few years later, Gibson was living on welfare and unable to pay for rent or medication. A friend, Angela Buxton, arranged for a letter to appear in a tennis magazine. Buxton told Gibson nothing about the letter, but Gibson figured it out when her mailbox started to bulge with envelopes full of checks from around the world. In total, nearly $1 million came in. On September 28, 2003, at the age of 76, Gibson died in East Orange, New Jersey, due to respiratory failure and was interred there in the Rosedale Cemetery. On the opening night of the 2007 U.S. Open, the 50th anniversary of Gibson's victory at the U.S. Championships in 1957, now the U.S. Open, Gibson was inducted into the U.S. Open Court of Champions. In 1991, Gibson became the first woman to receive the Theodore Roosevelt Award, the highest honor from the National Collegiate Athletic Association. She was cited for symbolizing the best qualities of competitive excellence and good sportsmanship, and for her significant contributions to expanding opportunities for women and minorities through sports. Sports Illustrated for Women named her to its list of the 100 greatest female athletes. In August 2013, the United States Postal Service issued a postage stamp honoring Gibson, the 36th in its Black Heritage series. The thing that impresses me most about Althea Gibson was her strength in the face of adversity. Gender or race was no match for her passion to live out her gift.